Daniel here for Tabletop for One. Please join me at the table as I teach and play through Solar Titans. And I thank you for joining me for this tutorial and solo playthrough of Solar Titans. Solar Titans is designed by Xian and Philip Guy, and it's published by SunnySideUp Games. I actually pledged for this game on Kickstarter, and I did a previous preview of this game, a previous tutorial solo playthrough with the old rules before they added in the new AI rules. And so I'm going to be doing a new official tutorial solo playthrough video for you and teach you about the new AI rules. Now, I'm really excited about this game because this is actually the first game I have my name in the rule book, just in the special thanks area. But yeah, I've been looking forward to this game. This game surprised me at how well it was done, and it's definitely one of my favorite deck builders of all time. Now, in Solar Titans, you are flying this massive spaceship into battle against one of the Titan AI warships. This is a deck building game where you're going to start out with a deck of 10 cards, drawing 5 cards every turn, and playing out cards and trying to shoot the enemy ship until the point of destruction. And so let's go into setup here. Now, the first thing you do is shuffle up the ship layout cards, and you're going to deal 2 to yourself. And then you're going to check out both those layouts and decide which one you want to go with. So I'm going to go with Terran 8 for this playthrough. Then you'll gain your ship cards that you need to build your ship. And so you have 4 light plates, targeting bay, alpha laser, crew quarters, and command deck. And we'll build out the ship here. Then you give yourself a player deck, which includes 7 cargo crew, 1 crew coordinator, and then 2 arming crew. And you're just going to shuffle these up here, and we'll set this deck off to the side right here. Then you'll give yourself the 5 of the field repairs, and we'll set those off to the side right here. And then we're going to have the market deck, and we'll shuffle this up pretty good. And what you're going to do is deal out 6 of them off to the right here. And we'll put the deck off to the side, off the screen here. Then you'll have a stack of the hauling crew and the mercenary crew. We'll place these up here. These are always available for purchase. And so now we need to set up for the AI. Now you can choose one of the hard layouts, which gives them extra ship components and stuff like that and an extra ability, but I wouldn't advise that on your first playthrough. And so to build out the ship, you just follow the layout that's shown on page 18, and I'll build it out right here. And so their ship consists of 2 alpha lasers, a command deck, crew quarters, targeting bay, and then 8 light plates. And then you're going to shuffle up the AI Automa cards, and then you're going to draw 1, and that's going to be it for the AI. Now you can do more than 1 if you want to go for the high score mode, but we're just doing the regular mode here, and I'll place it right here. And then you'll draw 1 card from the top of the market, and this is going to be the AI's first action card. We'll place it right here. All right, and so that's it for setup. All right, so the goal of the game is to defeat the enemy ship by getting rid of the command deck. You have to damage the command deck. It has 2 defense. And that is the goal of the game. Now, if the enemy is able to destroy your command deck, then you lose. And if the market deck runs out of cards, then you lose as well. And so first I want to talk about the anatomy of the cards. This is just basic information you need to know. And the green bar up here tells you how much defense an item has. Basically, that's how many hits it can take before it is disabled. This here is for a weapon. The red banner, it tells you how much damage it does when it fires. The black banner here is a special ability, and it's not always present on cards, but on some cards it is. It has a condition. So if this is done, then this happens. So this is an autocannon here, and it likes to be attached to other autocannons, meaning adjacent. So on one of the sides here. And so if you arm this autocannon, then it arms all the other autocannons. So they all fire at the same time. But again, they have to be attached. Down at the bottom right-hand corner here, you'll see a value of money. That's the cost it takes to buy this from the market. There are some other kinds of cards, like this one here, that do specific things. So this one says to place and play face up. Then next turn, it says you must scrap this. Scrap means to put it in the market discard pile. And target 1 ship card, and then do 1 flanking damage. I'll talk about damage in a little bit. But this is one of those special ability cards that lets you do some special effects, and the boarding pod is very useful. You have your targeting bay and your crew quarters, which are vital systems, and if they're damaged, they cause detrimental effects. It tells you here that if the targeting bay is disabled, it takes an additional arm to fire weapons, and so when this is destroyed, it'll remind you that that's what it takes Also, we have the crew quarters here that says if it's disabled, you have to discard 2 cards per turn, and that's after you draw your 5 cards. And so flipping it over here will show you that as well. There are some other cards that do various things, like this is an armor piece that says disable this card to gain 1 money or +1 attack level for a laser weapon this turn. And there's a whole variety of others, and we'll go over them as we encounter them. And so on your turn, you're going to be drawing 5 cards from your hand. This is a standard deck builder affair where you draw 5 cards and then you play those 5 cards doing those actions. And so some of the cards here provide money, whereas this here is an arm. What this does is it lets you fire a 1-ship weapon, or you can place it out and prepare it for a future turn and then use it to fire a ship weapon on a future turn. Now, the money you have here corresponds to buying stuff in the market. You'll see the stuff in the market has a cost at the bottom right-hand corner. You're able to buy those items if you can pay for the cost, and those items do a variety of things, but when you buy an item, they go straight into your discard pile. Now, if you have a weapon or an armor or something like that in your hand, you can play those out as well. And so when you play out a weapon or an armor, you place it out on your ship adjacent to a card that's already in play. And so I could place it right here if I wanted to. Now, you are limited to a 5x5 grid, so keep that in mind. But yeah, you can place it out, and now that becomes part of your ship, and now it's active and able to be used. Of course, armor is used for defending, whereas the weapons are used for attacking. Now, when you attack, let's say I played this arm and decided to attack with this alpha laser here, you are going to shoot in a straight line down one of the lanes of the ship. So you got to think of these ships as head to head. So the nose of this ship is in front of my ship here. And so we're shooting down these lanes. You have 5 columns here for the AI. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I decided to shoot down the 4th lane here, I would hit the first available card that's not disabled. So the light plate here would be the one I'd hit with this alpha laser. Now, if this card was disabled, flipped over on its other side here, then I would be able to hit the next card, and so on. And so you get to choose which lane you want to shoot down, but you have to shoot down one of the lanes, except when it comes to flanking, and we'll talk about that. There are a variety of different kinds of damage. So you have this purple arrow, which is penetration damage. So basically, this does 2 damage, and if it disables a card, it'll pass on any extra damage to the next card. So if I had used this gun here, the mass cannon, on this light plate here, doing 2 damage to it, 2 penetration damage, it would do 1 damage to the light plate, flipping it over, and it has 1 left over, carrying over to that light plate, so it would disable 2 cards. Normally, damage only hits 1 card, so that is very useful. Then you have the wide attack here, and the wide attack is this double arrow here, and basically it hits in 2 lanes, the first card in 2 lanes. So if I decide to hit in lanes 2 and 3 here, with this wide attack, then it would knock out this card and this card, doing 1 damage to each. This is 2 damage to 1 card, so this would be very useful against the command deck, because the command deck has 2 defense. And then this is flanking damage. So flanking damage is really interesting. You can actually hit the first card coming in on any row instead of any column. So if I wanted to, I could do flanking damage from the left here, hitting this crew quarters and knocking it out. Now, I do want to note at this point, when an AI uses a weapon, if it has a black banner here, it never gets that bonus. It only gets what damage is shown here in the top right corner. Now, as you're damaging the AI ship, there's one thing you need to take note, is that when you take out the crew quarters, this one here, the moment you disable it, you are going to draw 1 card from the top of the marquee deck and put it right there. It doesn't matter what card it is. It could be a 3rd weapon. So be very wary of knocking out that crew quarters early. It could be very detrimental. All right, to sum up the player's turn, when you draw your 5 cards, you're going to play the cards from your hand, use money to buy cards from the market, those cards go to your discard pile, use arms to fire weapons, or play ship cards to your ship to build it out further. And the last thing I want to mention is that you have these field repair cards that you can use at the end of your turn. So if you have a ship part that is on its disabled side, you can spend one of these cards here to flip this over and have it repaired. Just note that you only have 5 of these for the game, so these can go very fast. All right, so let's talk about the AI's turn. Now you take the first turn of the game, then the AI follows you, and you continue this path for the rest of the game. Now on the AI's turn, you're going to look at its activation card, the card it drew from the market, and that's going to tell you the type of action it's going to do. If it's an armor part, it's going to replace one of its armor pieces that was disabled. If there aren't any, then it's going to upgrade an armor piece. And the way it does this is by a priority. So the priority is different than my last playthrough. The priority changed a little bit, but the priority here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you're going to follow that priority, starting with 1 as the most priority and 8 as the least. Now, when it upgrades, as in there's nothing damaged, it takes this card following that priority and swaps it out with the card that matches that priority that is worth less than the value of the card here. And so in this case here, this one would swap out with the light plate, and that would be its new card. Now, if the AI had drawn a weapon as its activation, what it's going to do is it's going to fire all of its weapons. It only has 2 weapons, but like I said, it could get a third weapon when it loses its crew quarters here, so keep that in mind. But it fires its 2 weapons, and it's going to try and damage your ship based off of these priorities here. First of all, it's going to go for the command deck, then the crew quarters, and then the targeting bay. If it can't hit those, then it'll go for weapons. And if it can't do that, it'll shoot as many of the lowest defense ship cards as possible. If there are multiple targets with the same priority, then you get to choose. And I always choose what is most detrimental to me. So in this case here, if it decided to fire right now, it doesn't have access to any of the essential systems or the weapons. So it would only hit light plates. The first one would hit this one, and then the second one would hit this one, making this one visible and available to be attacked. And so after the AI had fired its weapons, it's going to take the weapon that used its activation, let's say it was this one here, and upgrade one of its weapons. Now, if it had a disabled weapon, it would replace that with the activation card. If not, then it would upgrade one of these 2 weapons based on which one's the lowest value. And since these are the same, this left one will be priority 1, and then the right one priority 2. And so you just replace it with the new weapon. And then after the AI has done its turn, you'll draw a new card from the market to serve as the next action card for the AI for its next turn. So you get kind of a hint of what it's going to do. Just like right now, I know it's going to do a reinforce action by repairing or upgrading its armor. So I can keep that in mind with what I do on my turn. And so the last thing I want to talk about is the Automa card. And so the Automa card provides like kind of a passive bonus or conditional bonus for the AI. So in this one here, whenever the Automa ends its attack phase without disabling any ship cards, it takes the highest cost ship weapon in the market row as an upgrade. So that is very detrimental. So basically I need to let it attack me. Unless there aren't any high cost weapon cards in the market, then maybe I won't worry about it. All right, so we're ready to go here. So I'm going to draw 5 new cards. I shuffled the deck here. Let's see what I get. And I have 5 money. That's not a bad start. That means I can buy something. And so I have some good options here. There is this Styx missile here. The Styx missile is pretty cool because it allows flanking. And it costs 5, so that's not too bad. I could go with the solar battery and maybe one of the autocannons. That might not be a bad idea because then maybe I can get an autocannon in the next turn. And I actually know that I have 3 more money coming in the next turn, so maybe that's what I should do. So I'm going to gain the solar battery here, and it goes in my discard pile. And then we automatically replace the card, so keep that in mind. So there's another armor piece here. That's really nice, but I definitely want to go for the autocannon. We'll add that to my discard pile, and all the cards I played this turn go in the discard pile, and now it's the AI's turn. And so now the AI is going to do the reinforce action here, and it's going to take this card. There's nothing disabled on the AI's ship right now, so it's going to go into the upgrade. And it's going to upgrade based off of, what is the lowest value. No, they're all the same, so it goes off a priority, and this is priority number 1, so we just swap it out here. Then we draw a new card for the AI, and it looks like they're attacking next turn. And so now I get to draw my cards here, and so I have 3 money and 2 arms. Now one thing I want to note about firing weapons is each weapon can only be fired once per turn. So I can't use both of these and fire the alpha laser twice. I do think I'm going to put one out to prepare for next turn, and then I'm going to spend the other one, put it in my discard pile to activate my alpha laser and fire. And I think I'll fire right here. We'll destroy that card. And then I have 3 money to spend, and I'm going to spend it on that other autocannon, adding that to my discard pile. And then we draw a new card to the market here. And so my turn is done, and we go on to the AI's turn. Now it's going to fire both of its weapons. So it's going to take out this plate here and this one here. Then it's going to take this one and upgrade it. Since these are the same, we just picked the one on the left. And it's going to upgrade it with the gamma laser. Now the gamma laser can do 2 damage instead of 1. So that's going to be a little detrimental for me. Then we draw a new AI card, and it's another weapon. So that means it's going to attack again next turn. Now it's our turn. We're going to shuffle our deck because we don't have any cards to draw. And then we're going to draw 5 cards here. Let's see what we get. Hopefully something good. I really want to put out one of those autocannons. Let's see. I do have one of them, and I have one of the plates. That's really good. So I'm going to put the plate here. Oh, I should probably put it here, huh? You know what? I'm still going to put it here. And then I'm going to put the weapon out. And then I have 3 money to spend. And I think I'm going to spend it on the standard plate. Standard plate is a 2 damage plate. So I think that's really useful. So these go in my discard pile. I do think I'll fire at this light plate here, knocking it out. So that's going to get rid of my arm here. And then I think I'm going to use 2 of my field repairs. I know it seems kind of crazy, but I think it's worth it. We'll do 1 and 2 here. All right, so now it's the AI's turn, and they have a weapon activation. So they're going to fire both the weapons. Now, this one does 2 damage, but it's only to 1 card, so that's okay. And then it's going to fire, and it's going to fire at this one here, taking this one out. And then the other laser is going to fire at this one, taking out my autocannon. And then this laser will get upgraded with this new card here. And then we draw a new activation card for the AI, and it's going to fire again. All right, so now we need to draw 5 cards here, and let's see what we get. And, oh man, we only have 1 arm and 4 money. All right, so I'm going to use the arm, discarding that, to fire my alpha laser straight in this line here against the gamma laser. So that's gone. And then I'm going to spend the 4 money on the Mercenary Crew. So we haven't talked about the Mercenary Crew. The Mercenary Crew is like an arm, but when you use it, you scrap it. So it just goes back to that pile over there. But it gives you an extra arm that you can use on your turn. So this gets added to my discard pile, costing all 4 of my money. And with that, I'm not going to heal these yet. I might do that the next turn, but we'll see. Now it's the AI's turn, and first they fire their weapons. So it's going to fire the autocannon, hitting this card right here. And then it's going to upgrade this other card here, and then draw a new card. And it looks like they're finally going back to reinforcing. And that's good for us. It gives us a little bit of a reprieve to rebuild here. And so now I draw 2 cards. I need 3 more, so we're going to have to shuffle this into a new deck. And so here are 5 cards here. Now I've got the Mercenary Crew, and I've got the autocannon. So I'm going to place the autocannon here, and I'm going to prep the Mercenary Crew for a future turn. And then I have 3 money. Now, we haven't talked about the Crew Coordinator here. Crew Coordinator is interesting because I can play this, spend 1 money, and scrap a card in my hand. That helps you get rid of weaker cards. And I could do that right now, or I could spend the 3 money maybe on the boarding pod, or the link laser, or something like that. And I think maybe that's what I should do. Or I can spend it on the hauling crew. Let's do that. We'll spend 2 money on the hauling crew. The hauling crew here is a 2 money generator, so that's really nice. It helps me buy bigger cards. Or I can scrap it to move a ship card. And so when you move a ship card, you just take 1 ship card and place it in another spot. Again, it has to be adjacent to another card, but that's very useful. So we're going to discard all these. And one last thing I want to do is I want to spend, I think, both of these. Yeah, I'll spend both of them. It's crazy. I'm down to 1 field repair kit, but I'm going to spend both of these to put these back up. Yeah, I want to be able to use these. Again, you spend these at the end of your turn, so keep that in mind. You don't get to spend them during your turn. All right, so now it's the AI's turn, and they're going to reinforce. Again, following priority here, this is 5 and 7, so they're going to reinforce 5 by replacing this disabled card with a new armor card here. And we draw a new card for the AI. It's another armored car, so they're going to reinforce again. All right, so now we get to draw 5 cards. Let's see. And I have 1 arm and 4 money. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the arm, and I'm going to fire the autocannon. And a reminder, the autocannon arms all other attached autocannons. And so this autocannon is attached to this one here. So both of these fire just with the one armed card. And the nice thing that you can do is you can take multiple weapons firing at the same time and focus fire to defeat harder cards. So the standard plate here that they just replaced, I fire at it with the autocannon, doing 2 damage between both of these, disabling this card. And so now I have 4 money left, and I think I'm going to get another Mercenary Crew. And we'll add that to my discard pile. All right, so now it's the AI's turn. Once again, it's going to replace that card with the new armor card. And we draw a new card for the AI, and they're going to reinforce again. All right, so let's draw our cards here. I have 3 cards. We'll have to shuffle and draw a couple more. So I have an arm here. I have some armor. And I probably want to put my armor up here, replacing this card. You can scrap cards that are disabled at any time. And then what I'm thinking of doing is spending this arm card to fire with my alpha laser at this card here. And then using the Mercenary Crew to fire the autocannon. Sorry, this one goes back into this pile here. And I fire the autocannon, both of them, to hit the standard plate, flipping that one over. And then I have 3 money left. But I think I'll use the crew coordinator. Again, you play it, spending 1 to scrap a card from your hand. I'll scrap this one. Now it's the AI's turn. This time they're going to replace this one with this plate here. That was kind of the plan. I wanted to keep this lane open so I can take care of their weapon. All right, so now they draw another card. This time they will be attacking, and they're going to end up getting a flanking card. That is not good. And so I have a decent amount of money. I have 5 money, and I can fire a weapon. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Definitely fire a weapon. Firing the autocannons. So I'll hit the link laser with 1, and then let's see. I guess I might as well hit this one here because I can't hit this one. This one has 2 defense. That leaves me with 5 money to spend. Now, one thing you can do, and I don't do this too often, is you can spend 1 money to scrap the highest cost card in the market row. So I'm going to scrap this one here, and then we'll draw a new one here to replace it. And that's not exactly what I wanted, so I'm going to spend 1 more and scrap this one here. And let's see, I was hoping for some armor. Wow, a lot of boarding pods. Well, I guess that could be good, right? Let's spend 3 to gain a boarding pod. Let's see if we can pull this off. Maybe if I can get enough boarding pods, I can hit that command deck from the side. I don't know, we'll see. And so now it's the AI's turn. They're going to fire all their weapons. They just have 1 autocannon here. It's just going to do 1 damage. And so it's going to hit this one or this one. It'll hit this one here because that's more detrimental to me. And then it's going to replace this weapon here. Now I have to be really careful with that weapon because it's a flanking weapon, so it can hit my crew quarters if I don't stop it. And so we draw a card for the AI, and they will be firing another weapon. All right, once again, I only have 3 cards to draw, so we'll shuffle this into a new deck. All right, so we have 3 money, which once again, I'm going to buy another boarding pod. I'm going to try and get all these boarding pods. Let's see if we can do it. I'm going to put out my Mercenary Crew for later, and then arm my autocannons. We'll take out the relic missile because I don't want that happening. And then I think I'm going to take out this light plate. I did forget to refill the market here. Now the question is, do I repair this now? Really tempting. If I don't repair it, this is going to get hit, but then I could repair this later. Yeah, I'll just wait. So now it's the AI's turn, and so they're going to fire with the autocannon. It's going to hit a weapon. Again, it tries for these 3 cards if it can hit them, but it can't right now. Then it goes to weapons, and since the weapon is available to be hit, it'll hit this one here, knocking it out. And then we're going to replace their disabled weapon with this card here. And then we draw a new card for the AI, and they will be firing again. Now we draw 5 cards. And so I have one of the boarding pods, but I don't want to use it yet. And so I can just discard it at the end of my turn and not use it. I will spend 4 money. Well, I only need 3 to buy the other boarding pod. We'll see if we can pull this off. I've never done this before, but I'm loading up on boarding pods. I'm going to use the 1 arm to attack with, it doesn't matter which one, I'll attack with 1 of them and we'll destroy their flux beam. And then like I said, I'm going to discard this, but also I'm going to use my field repair to repair this card here. And so now it's the AI's turn. They're going to fire, once again taking out this cannon. And then they're going to replace their disabled weapon with the new card. And their new activation card will be another weapon. That is not good. That's not good. All right, so we draw 1 card, and then we're going to shuffle this into a new deck. All right, let's see if we got anything good. Oh, no, we didn't. That was rough. So I'm going to use the arm. I'm going to fire the autocannon at the shot cannon, getting rid of that. Now I know that means I'm going to lose the autocannon the next turn, and that's okay. And then I have 5 money here, and I think I'm gonna buy the Styx missile. It's about time I bought that, so we'll add that to my discard pile. I don't want to use this Mercenary Crew. I'm saving that. So that's it for the turn. We're going to go on to the AI's turn. They're going to fire, destroy my other autocannon, and then they're going to gain the Styx missile. Now, I have really hedged my bets here. And if I don't pull this off, I'm going to lose. So we'll see how it goes. And then we draw a card for the AI, and they're going to be attacking again next turn. All right, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what we get here. We're hoping for 2 boarding pods. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, check that out. Oh, man. So we're placing those out. Now, they don't activate until the next turn. And then we use the 1 arm here to fire my alpha laser at the Styx missile, getting rid of that. Now I have 2 money left. I might as well buy a hauling crew. And then that's it for my turn. Now it's the AI's turn. They're firing again, doing 1 damage. So they're going to hit this light plate, taking it out. And then they're going to replace their old disabled card with the new one. And they'll draw a new card from the deck. And they're going to reinforce this time. All right, so now it's my turn. And so one thing to note about the boarding pod is you have to scrap it on the next turn, but you choose when. And you can combine it with fire to do damage. And so, look, I've got even more here. But we're going to arm attacking with the alpha laser to take out this mining laser here, and then using these 2 boarding pods now to do a flanking attack of 2 damage. Again, a flanking attack is from the row. So we can come from the left-hand side here, hitting the command deck, taking it out, and destroying that Titan. Wow, that was quite the game. I can't believe I was able to pull that off. The fact that I drew those boarding pods, actually, the first turn after that shuffle where I drew no boarding pods, and then I was able to draw the 2 of them. That was epic. And I took out that ship. Yeah, from the flanking. Flanking's awesome if you can pull it off because you don't have to destroy the rest of the ship. You just take out the command deck. Yeah, so anyways, that was the tutorial and solo playthrough of Solar Titans by Xian Wu and Philip Guy, and published by SunnySideUp Games. This is one of my favorite deck builders of all time. There's a lot of bias there. I have a lot of love for this game. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this game. Let me know if you've tried it out and on what difficulty. Now, there's lots of difficulties. There's the harder ships to try. You can add a second automa card. And, this automa card didn't do anything to me this game because I always let it hit me. But you can add a second automa card to it. You can add even more than that if you really want punishment. But yeah, there's a lot of different variability, customizable difficulty, and that sort of thing. And that's one of the things I love about this game. I love customizable difficulty in games. It just provides this experience that you can tailor to what you enjoy. Anyways, I'll talk about that more in my first impressions. But let me know in the comments below what you thought. Please also like and subscribe to this channel if you like the content you see here. And thank you very much for joining me on Tabletop for One. Have a great night.